Hey everyone, it's Carrie Lane here and welcome back to Life on the Res. So I'm out here at Bigfoot Camp and we just officially got moved out here Memorial Day weekend. And so this is May 30th, Saturday, May 30th. So we've been out here about a week and we are just excited for summer camping. Right now it's a rainy day in Bigfoot Camp. We're going through that time where the Blackfeets call it the 10-day rain. And so it usually happens at the end of May, first part of June. And so we're in that rainy season right now, but we sure needed it. And it was nice to come out and see that the leaves came out on the trees. So today I want to share a video I did last year. And I did this video last May, so it's been a year. And I just kind of sat on it. I didn't do anything with it. And the other day I was looking at it and I thought, I think I'll share it because it's interesting. What I tell a story of what happened to me on Bigfoot Trail a few years back. And what happened was that I got paced. So I had this thing pacing me in the woods, and it was kind of paralleling me while I was walking, and it was kind of simultaneously walking with me. I also shared a story. If you haven't watched it, I think it's called "Did My Parents Save Him from Bigfoot?" But it was about a young man who had the same thing happen to him, and it was almost in the exact same spot that this happened to me. And so with this young man, it happened to him at nighttime where this thing began to parallel him, kind of stalk him, and then begin to come right toward him. And that's kind of what happened to me. This thing began to walk alongside of me, and every time I would stop, it would stop. And I finally I started feeling so creeped out. I made it off of the trail and back to my vehicle. I want to share that story with you today. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's get to the story. May 3rd, 2025. It's a beautiful day. It's 72 degrees out and the wind is pretty calm, not a lot of wind. So it's the perfect day to get out and check out Bigfoot Trail. Straight up that way is another animal trail and it heads on up the ridge. The reason I mention it is when we got back there, that direction, there was some creepy vibes back there. I mean, everybody felt it. Well, here we are back at Bigfoot Trail. So the trail I'm on, we're kind of heading east, I guess. And then the trail heads down that way. Now the last time I was up here, I'll throw that video in, but there was still like a ton of snow that you couldn't even walk down the trail there. But now you can walk down it along this fence line here. Yeah. The tree fell. This was the tree, if I throw a picture in of it, that the Bigfoots brought here years ago, and they stuck it in these two trees here. And it was this tree here was more, see if I can't get it. It was more toward this tree. And this tree here sat up a lot higher. It sat where you can kind of see where it was resting right here. And then this part was in the air. And then it went down over there. But this tree, oh, it looks dead. It looks dead, and it looks like it finally bent. And then this tree went down. But wow, it stayed parallel like that in the trees for years. This year it finally went down and hit the ground. It's pretty amazing how it was able to hold up in the air, balanced like that for so many years. Wow. Well, that's new on Bigfoot Trail. I don't feel too creepy through here. There is days that I come up here and I definitely feel like I'm being watched. There's other times I come up here and I feel like I need to just go, you know, not wander around here, just get out. There's a little ravine right back here. So if we follow up Bigfoot Trail, we go off and kind of go down into that ravine. Yeah, that area feels creepy. No, I don't know if this is just a slide right here, all the way up here, or if it's a track. So it starts here and it ends right here. And here's my foot to it. My heel is at the base of it. And it ends right here. So you can see the width. My heel back here. And then the end of it right here. So I don't know if that's a track or if it just was like a elk or a moose or a bear slipping in the mud. I'm not sure. Well, this kind of be on the lookout. Earlier when the camera was off, I did make a couple whoop sounds. But this car here, when all of the leaves come out and everything like that, this car is hard to find. You cannot see it. I think I filmed it a few times in videos, so you might see it on other videos or future videos. But yeah, so my dad wants these license plates, or they're 1955. So that's how long this truck has been up here. It belonged to my dad's cousin, and he told my dad some guy borrowed it to come up and get wood, and it stalled up here, and he just left it, and they were never able to come and get it. And then, you know, trees and everything just grew around it, and people come up and start taking parts off of it. So that that ended up just being a relic back here. But when the leaves are out, it's hard to find that little truck back there. I was looking at this little tree here. You see how it's broke up here? Right there. And you know, they do arches. I see a lot of arches when I'm walking around up here, but I was thinking, I wonder if they were trying to make this an arch and it broke. And then they just left it. You know, so you see tree downfall, tree snaps. You see weird tree structures. And, you know, I guess you can't say all of it is Bigfoot. You can't say, oh, all of it's just Bigfoot, you know. But then you can't just say all of it's natural. Or other animals, or it's all natural, because there's been so much activity up here, and Bigfoot tracks found up here. And you know, like I said, I've had my sighting up here, so we can't just conclude everything that we see up here is just natural tree fall. It's just animals doing the tree breaks. We can't just say that either. It's got to be either or. The way I look at it, it's either Bigfoot or it's natural. You know, and the ones that I get curious about is the ones that it's hard to find a natural explanation. Getting down close to the area, if you've seen the video I put out of did my mom or did my parents save him from Bigfoot? And it was me just telling a scary story of what happened to a young boy that was up here, and he was trying to make it hitchhike back towards town. And like I said, we're about 15 miles. Those are interesting. Could be elk or, you know, moose or something, deer. They are a little bit high up. So I'd say if they wouldn't be deer, they're too high up. Maybe moose, you think? Or elk? I see a lot of these breaks back here like this. But yeah, so if you guys get a chance, check out that video of the young man that was walking through here and something trailed him. And he said it was so huge. He said, and you know, I'm not saying it was Bigfoot, but he did state that it did not sound like an animal. He said it was walking with 2 feet. He said, and it was big. And he said, at first it was paralleling him, you know, like walking, like as he was walking, it was walking across from him. He said it was pitch black out, so he said I couldn't see anything. Pretty soon, he says, it starts coming toward him. And he said, so it starts making its way toward him. He said, and it is a bipedal steps coming at him. And he was terrified. I had the camera off and I just heard a tree break or a branch break. Kind of sound like it came from that direction. But it was just one. And I stopped. And I haven't heard anything else, like walking. Like if it's an animal walking through the brush, I haven't heard that. It was just one big snap. Here's another track. I don't know if you can see it. Right here, coming up here and coming down. Looks, it kind of looks like toes right here. Right through there, looks like toes. But you can't see it with the camera, but I don't know. But it looks like a little slip too, kind of right there. And then it starts right here. And it ends right up there. Let's put my water bottle to it. So I put my water bottle right at the top. And then here's where it ends. And then it comes up here and it's right here. That might be a trap, but it's not defined enough. But it does look like I see a couple toes in there. But anyway, ooh, another one, you guys. Holy cows. This one's a little more defined right here. Of course, you can see up here, right there, coming down. Let's put my water bottle at the top. And here's where it ends right here. And my water bottle is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe about 7 inches. And this is almost double, probably double my water bottle where it ends right here. And it's about wide here to here. So if we put my water bottle, oh, it's almost as wide as my water bottle. Holy cows. Holy cows, I think that's a track. But like I said, we have found Bigfoot tracks up here. Before, well-defined ones, but we weren't into casting them at that time. But here's where the young man would have come up. Let's come here. I don't think he quite made it up here. And that's when the thing started coming toward him. So he made his way some way to the road. He said it was pretty frightening for him. One time I was up this way cutting across and coming through the trees, and I got paralleled. So that's why I totally believe this young man, because that happened to me too. So you can see here's the road. And so this young man was kind of coming up this way. I was right up there. The thing was a little bit further from me. And before it happened, before I heard the footsteps, I heard talking, like murmuring, like and so I could hear talking going on, and I was like, what is that? Then I thought maybe it's Winslow. At that time, my husband, I thought maybe he's talking to someone on the phone down by the car, because the car was over that way. Then I heard the steps, but it was weird because I'd be like this, you could hear me stepping, and then I could hear this thing stepping too with me. And then when I would stop, it would stop. And I'd listen, and it was like this total quietness. So then I'd start stepping again, and then it would start stepping. And I'd stop, and it would stop. So I started to try to make it back to the car. In fact, I think I was coming right through here. This trail meets up with it. Yeah, because I ended up coming down. I was over this way, and I ended up coming down and meeting up with this trail here. Yeah, so I just kind of put two and two together. I'm like, no other animal's gonna stop when I stop, you know. They're not gonna stalk me like that unless there's a mountain lion, and a mountain lion, you probably wouldn't even hear their steps coming up on you. But that's what it felt like. It felt like you were being stalked, and I would stop and I would look around, and I'd like look into the trees, and I wouldn't see nothing. And then after I kind of started getting down here, it quit. Whatever it was stopped following me. But I asked Winslow, I said, was you talking on the phone? And he said, no. He said, I was just walking around and looking around. He said, but yeah, no, nobody called me or anything. So I really put two and two together. I was like, oh my gosh. My dad and mom just called. They're over kind of close to my car. They were up here just taking a drive on this beautiful day. I don't see any new structures or anything. I haven't been on this part, I haven't been down on this trail by the road for a long time. When it gets, with all the leaves come out and everything, it's gonna be hard to navigate through here. Made it down. That's a beautiful pine tree. Wow. Huge. That I heard something walking. We're back by the car now. Whew. So I'm sitting here visiting my mom and dad, and standing by the truck. You can see them over here, and you see a little bit looking out. So we're just visiting, and then my dad, I said, well, I'm gonna head back in. I said, I'm getting pretty hungry. And so he said, okay. He said, well, go first, and then I'll lock up the gate. So I was like, all right. So I just start walking toward my car. Well, just before that, my dad was like, he tells me, do a whoop sound. And so I'm like, all right. So I look straight up to the ridge, and I do a couple whoops. And after I do them, we're standing there, and I didn't think nothing, you know, start visiting again. And then I said, okay. I said, well, I'm gonna head to town now. I said, and go get something to eat. And he's like, all right. So I just walk away and start walking to my car, and I got a wood knock. I was like, geez, just the time I don't have my camera on. And so I ran back to his car, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there was a wood knock. But it was maybe about 5 minutes after I did 5 minutes after I did the whoops. Like, I'm kind of curious about coming back tonight. That was definite wood knock. And we stood around and waited another 5 minutes. We didn't